Yo, everybody, we're back again, episode 17. My guy Nelson Haskin is the co-host of the BeBall Jones podcast. How you feeling, man?
I'm good, bro. How about yourself?
I'm all right, man. Just ready to get into this topic, man. Anything you want to say to the people before we get into it?
Uh, Before we get into it, I just want folks to know, if you heard, well, this will come out after the what you call it, the my individual video, but my voice been kind of messed up yelling at these kids at the YMCA. So if you listen to it, be like, man, why Nelson sound like that? Hey, these kids, man, is why I sound like that. So, but nah, and other than that, everything good.
I feel your pain with that, man. When kids be difficult sometimes, but it's all worth it in the long time, brother.
All right, for sure.
Right. So for this episode, we're going to talk mainly about the playoffs because that's the season we're in within the NBA season. It's kind of weird to say, but so just kind of getting a feel for our perspective and our thoughts on the playoffs and what we've seen and got a feel from the current situation. So right now in the second round of the NBA playoffs, we have seen the Warriors get bounced out in the playoff or play-in tournament. We have seen the reigning champs in the Los Angeles Lakers and King James get bounced out in the first round of playoffs. We've seen the Clippers be exposed on the good end, on the bad end in the first round. What else have we seen? We've seen Chris Paul be the point guard for sure again. We have seen on the east side, we have seen Jason Tatum do his thing against the Monstars called the Brooklyn Nets.
That boy showed, hey, he did what he could.
Man, I saw somebody say that was similar to the AI versus Lakers performance when he won that first game. So,
hey, I can say that. Yeah, that is similar. Like, we'll devoid the one win, but it's obvious. Like, the talent is no contest.
Yeah, it was a feel good win, but we all knew that in a 7-game series that's your best shot right there, man. So you might have got close to another win, but
right.
9 times out of 10 you getting smoked. So that's what happened. So what else happened?
If Jaylen Brown was healthy, I would have gave him another one.
Oh yeah. I feel like JB would have gave him another chance to. I feel like could have pushed to 6, or at least a closer 6.
You got Marcus Smart could have guarded Kyrie. I mean, not saying they were just gonna lock up because you can't lock up another guy. But you got Marcus Smart could have guarded Kyrie. JB could have guarded James Harden. And then Tatum do his best with KD. They could have almost canceled each other out depending on how JT was shooting. So hey, I would have gave him 6, but next year.
We gotta make some moves, man. We'll see. But we need more than just Jaylen Brown coming back, which we'll get into that later. But
I ain't gonna lie. Yeah, we'll get to it later.
Yeah. So what else have we seen out of the East Coast? We've seen the Hawks, man. I'm impressed by them. Not too surprised, but very impressed. We've seen the Knicks make the playoffs after at least 10 years being out, about 10 years being out. For the most part, that's the biggest storylines, man. So out of all of that I just kind of threw out there, man, on whatever else comes to mind. Oh, the Heat getting bounced out in the first round too. They were the reigning East Coast champions, and I kind of want to talk about that, but they got bounced out in the first round. So
let's start right here.
Let's start with the Heat.
No, let's start right here. What has been the biggest surprise to you out of all the first round exits? The Lakers, the Knicks, the Heat. Who has been like the most surprising first round out to you?
I kind of want to say the Heat. Don't get me wrong, the Lakers are very surprising, but the Heat surprised me on the other end just because they brought back the exact same team from last year. For the most, like 90% of the team came back from last year.
That's not true because they made that trade for Victor Oladipo.
That's why I tweeted. I said about 90% of the team. So it's like, but the key pieces, you know what I mean? Like the key pieces that you had from last year: Jimmy Butler, Tyler Hero, your boy Duncan Robinson, Dunn, and Dragic. The main pieces that you had from last year came back again this year. And then Depot being out, it hurt them, but still at the same time, you still got your key pieces from last year. So that was surprising for me. But of course, the Lakers being bounced out in the first round. We've seen time and time again where LeBron has carried a team no matter what out of the first round, no matter what against. No offense, but the Suns aren't as good as the Lakers. Like even without, even without the Anthony Davis addition, like LeBron has been enough time and time again. Like he went toe to toe with the Warriors by himself. No offense to any of the Cavaliers, but basically by himself that year. That man was Superman that first game and blown because somebody missed a free throw and then somebody else had no clock management or court awareness. So it's like, seeing LeBron get bounced on the first round was very tough. So for me, that's the most surprising thing. So what about you?
I can also say the Lakers is the most surprising one, but to be like as a team, I say that's the most surprising one. But I wasn't so surprised because once Anthony Davis went down, it was already going to be a tough series. Like I gave Phoenix 6. I said that again. I said I got Lakers in 6, and so when AD went down, I was like, okay, Bron either finna have to, like you say, carry this team. There's no other star with him. Like, and I ain't see nobody stepping up. So I was like, Bron finna either have to be old Bron, like 2016 Cavs Bron, or they gonna lose. And that's just what it is. Cause like Phoenix not Indiana, like George, Indiana. They not them. So he playing 2 legit stars, one that's a big bucket, and one of the greatest point guards we've ever seen. And so I just think that was a little too much. And at the same time, I feel like Bron just getting a little too old to be doing that. And then, he still wasn't 100% from his ankle. So I give him the benefit of the doubt in that too. But the most surprising thing out the first round to me was the Clippers after they went down 0-2. That was the most surprising thing to me. Once they went down 0-2, I was like, it's over. I think a lot of people was like that too, though. I said, yeah, they're not bouncing back from 0-2.
Yeah. Yeah, because the Clippers
they already blew a 3-1 lead last year. Now they down 0-2. I was like, yeah.
Yeah, the Clippers have been like the most X factor team the past 2 years because it's like initially preseason we were like, oh, we're gonna see LA versus LA in the Western Conference Finals. That's gonna be the determining factor if we're gonna go to the finals and represent the West. Like we were waiting on that. We was waiting to see Kawhi versus LeBron, PG versus AD. Like we were ready for that matchup, and then they get bounced out like that. You know what I mean? Like that was a huge disappointment. And it was weird because it's Kawhi Leonard. He was arguably top 3 or top 5 players in the league. You got Paul George, one of the best two-way players in the game. Like he's arguably still top 10 probably two-way players, maybe 10, 15. Strictly talking about two-way. That's tough, man. And it's just like the depth they had Lou Will, Trez last year coming off the bench. Like, wasn't Rondo on that team? Oh, no, he's with the Lakers team.
No, he's with them now.
Yeah. So it's like, that's just tough, man, for that to not work out. And so we're going to turn around for this year and have Luka expose them as not being as great as we thought they were. Then at the same time, we saw that they can come back and, do their thing. So it's like, it was weird to see all in one series.
Man, hey, that boy Luka, hey, a bad man. Okay, I was just watching them games, man. Like, number one, the Clippers, like, one-on-one ball defense. I feel like Kawhi and PG can still do that. Mm-hmm. But once Luka called for that screen, it was a wrap. Like, if they sent him a good screen, let him come off, 9 times out of 10, they switched it. And if they did switch, he was going to come off and make the right decision with the ball. Man, I'm talking about one play. This man came off the screen, took a 1-foot fadeaway 3, cash. I said, yeah, they finna lose. I was like, this man comfortable enough to just take this in the game. Like, I don't care if you being defended or nothing. That's still a tough shot. Like just to do that like open gym by yourself. You telling me this man playing against premier NBA talent? Y'all supposed to be two of the best two-way players in the game, and he came off like, yeah, I'm gonna take this 1'3". That ain't no good look. That's all I can tell you. That ain't no good look.
Like Luka's been super comfortable. Like, the thing that's been surprising is not just how comfortable Luka has been, but he's been so comfortable against those too. Like it's not just, him being comfortable regular season, him just being comfortable against any old defenders. Like this is supposed to be Kawhi Leonard, lockdown, clamps guy, like, and Paul George, like we just said, like two of the best two-way defenders. Like it's supposed to be the closest thing we got to modern day not Kobe, but Jordan and Pippen as far as, that type of talent and wing play. Right. And Luka is in his, third year, fourth year, looking that comfortable against those two. So imagine Tony Kukoc when he was going against Jordan and Pippen, the Olympics year. And it's like, I ain't trying to compare Kawhi and PG to Jordan and Pippen like that, but at the same time, that's the closest similarity that we have as far as wing play, True. So imagine Kukoc coming out doing half the stuff Luka was doing. We'd be going crazy, man. Like for real. Imagine how comfortable he'd be looking doing this.
We would never let them live that down.
Never. Now, once again, I'm not trying to compare either one of them to Jordan and Pippen. I'm not saying it at all. That's the closest thing we have as far as comparison, as far as two dominant wing players, both being able to play both sides of the ball at a very high level. That's the thing that draws the comparison to those two. If you want to say going deeper, Kawhi has the, fundamentals and skills, the big hands. He has that dominant, X factor thing about him. Paul George is best as a number two. He can be a number one at times. His best role is a number two, sidekick, same as Pippen. All this stuff is similar. But I'm not trying to say Kawhi is Jordan. I'm trying to say PG is Scottie Pippen. Not doing that. But Luka's a bad man. That man's ridiculous. Like this year, he earned my respect before, but this year was like a whole nother level for me. So seeing what he did that's ridiculous.
And if Kristaps Porzingis would stop playing like Kyle Kuzma, they might be in the second round right now. This man Porzingis would be in the middle of the lane, 7'3", shoot the ball over top of everybody, hit straight back iron, and they'll come right back out. He did that so many times. I was just like, bro, if this man had any bit of help, Tim Hardaway Jr. was their second best player the whole series. And they had Kristaps Porzingis. Like what are you supposed to do? And not to say Tim ain't good, because I love Tim Hardaway Jr. game, for real. I like to watch him play. He a good player, great shooter. He can really give you what you want on the offensive end. But if Tim Hardaway Jr. my second best player against Kawhi and PG, I might not win that series. So the fact that Porzingis get paid much more than Luka Doncic. I don't know if people know that neither. Because Luka's still on that rookie deal. This man, Kristaps Porzingis, on max contract. So he need to be doing max player things, like all-star level play. And he did not do that at all. So that's another thing that I just revisit that in the off season, see what they want to do. Because man, did Buddy not show up? I was like, dang, that disappointed me, but.
Yeah, I saw something come out with him saying he was very frustrated that the way he was being used, and felt like instead of him being a co-star, he's more of like, an afterthought. It was all about the Luka. It was a Luka show, and I was just one of the extras in the background. But I think that always kind of goes hand in hand. Like as a coach, if I'm sitting here looking at what you're giving me, if you're not giving me co-star type of, performance and output, I'm not going to give you the play calls of a co-star. I'm not going to give you the looks of a co-star. And if you're not performing, it's like you're not giving me anything for me to trust and rely on, especially in the playoffs. Like, we ain't got time for ifs and maybes. Like, I need guarantees. Lucas gave me a guarantee 38 and 13. Like, what more do you want from me then? You haven't given me anything consistent in regular season, so why I'll trust you that much in the postseason? You feel me? So I kind of get it. Then on the other side of Porzingis, he's not that type of player where it's like like Luka. Luka's like, give me the ball and I'll work. I don't think Porzingis is there right now anymore.
No, yeah, it's kind of weird with Porzingis. Like, do you ISO him? Do you like post him? Or like, I don't even know like where his spots are. Like, he's just a different player. Like, that's why they call him a unicorn. Like, you a 7'3" dude, you got a jumper, like, and I don't know if he kind of want to like work out on the mid post or something like that. Like, I really don't even know like what they could do for him. So like, because I know I ain't finna just ISO him. Like, that's what we're not gonna do. If I got Luka Doncic, you think I'm finna ISO Kristaps Porzingis? Like, no, bro, you better rotate off the pick and roll and hope he kick it to you. So I'm not doing that. And Luka, they're averaging like, he averaged like 35 in that series and shot over 50%. Like, you think I'm gonna give you more touches than him? Like, what do I look like? Yeah. Like, now, should you have been getting like close to 20 points a game? Yeah. But like, for the minutes that you was getting and the looks you was getting, I guess they felt like, and they ain't the only one, because I probably would say the same thing if I was on their coaching staff, but they probably felt like for what the production they was getting out of them, they was like, hey, look, like you said, I need guarantees. We ain't got but 7 guaranteed games if we get it that far. Like, we only guarantee 7 more games at the most. And so I'm not going to be out here trying to figure out how to use Kristaps Porzingis when I know how I'm going to use Luka. Give him the ball and get out the way.
Exactly.
Like, I don't know. They, like I said, they're going to have to revisit that in the offseason. But I still thought they were going to win, despite all that. I thought it was over with. When they went up 2-0, I was like, yeah, they're going to win in 5.
Yeah, I think they're going to have to make some major moves this offseason because I feel like Luka's not going anywhere. Mark Cuban already said Rick Carlisle's not going anywhere, which is great. And it's really coming down to what pieces around Luka makes the most sense. And speaking of Luka, I want to talk about Trae Young a little bit too, man. Like, dog been showing out, bro. Like, Trae Young he's exposed to who he is too. Like, we seen that Trae Young is worth all the hype. He's worth every last bit of praise that man's got him. For him to be in his first playoffs, period, in his career, to show his butt off like that, granted, it is the Knicks, no knock, but still, it's the Knicks.
The Knicks have been good, though. But they ain't show up this time around.
You know what I mean? It's still the Knicks. You know what I mean?
Still the Knicks.
Like, but not to knock Luka, not to knock Trae, but, you know, he still did his thing, man. He showed up, dealt with the trash talk, dealt with the crowd, dealt with the quote-unquote bullying that he got, you know, all that stuff. Like, he came out and still did his thing, man. So, got a lot of love for Trae. Same thing for Luka.
Yeah, this might be another podcast topic. Like, the new generation that's coming up, they really like they stepped up in these playoffs. This has been like the new next generation's biggest stage between Luka, Trae, Devin Booker, John Morant, Jason Tatum. Like, this has really been like the next gen's biggest stage. Now, of course, somebody like one of the current gen players gonna win it all, obviously. Well, not obviously, but, you know, we more certain of them to win it all. But these next gen kids, they just showed up. And so Trae, we might have to talk about that another day. But Trae, yeah, I can be the first to admit I have never been a Trae Young fan. Like, I've never liked Trae's game. I knew Trae was good. I ain't say he's not good, but I always said Trae got a lot of talent. And, you know, the Steph Curry comparisons is kind of accurate. But the thing I always say about Trae is Trae don't make good decisions with the ball. And, you know, granted, you know, that might have been because his team ain't always been good. But I always felt like Trae would put himself in positions and try to make something happen, and it don't work out. He end up with a lot of turnovers. And he still do average a good amount of turnovers. He don't lead the league, but, you know, he up there. But after watching him, like, for a couple games in a row, like, because that's one thing the playoffs give us the opportunity to do, like, that I appreciate. I feel like, you know, you can't watch everybody every night, obviously. But in the playoffs, they give you the opportunity to watch certain guys a couple times in a row and really see how they play, how they interact with the team, how the plays are ran for them. And so I can kind of see Trae play, and I'm like, okay, is he a little better with it than I thought? He a little better IQ-wise than I thought. Because I don't know. I guess maybe, like I said, his team ain't always been good, but I used to feel like, man, Trae coming off the ball and he was just trying to make something happen, and he turned that thing on. But in these playoffs, he been real poised, kind of taking his time. You don't see him sped up by the moment or nothing like that. So I give him his respect. Trae showing up this year. I can see that.
Yeah, I think some of that is one, just his maturity and his training. I follow a couple of his trainers that he works with, so I can attest to that. Like he's grown as a player with them, and a blend of this probably being his best team he's ever had. Honestly, probably it has been the best team he's ever had. Like they really
They made the playoffs.
yeah, they really put in work to make sure he has a solid team around him. Like last year they had Rondo. Was it last year? No, 2 years ago.
Rondo's on there this year.
With the Hawks?
Yeah, Rondo's with Hawks this year before he got traded
this
to the
year.
Clippers because he got traded for Lou Williams.
All over the roster. Yeah, he has Rondo with him, backing him up. He got Lou Will. He ended up getting Jason Collins back, and he got what's my boy name? The shooter, Bogdanovich. I think that's
yeah.
He's with him, and he got Gallinari. He's been healthy, so it's like this is obviously the most talented team he's ever had, point blank. Period.
Yeah.
So it's like they really went hard for him to have a solid squad around him. So now it's like you said, when 105 is I don't have the talent and skill around me, all I gotta do is stop Trae. That's the game plan in college. Like he went off the first couple games. It's like, oh, all we gotta do is boxing one on Trae, double team him wherever he goes. Of course my number's gonna drop. Again, I'm seeing 2 or 3 bodies everywhere I go. That's hard to shoot over that. I don't care who you are. I love Kobe, but that's hard to shoot over. I don't care how much you train for that. That's still hard to shoot over. Like,
right.
Hard to shoot over one person, let alone 2. So it's just like Trae having to deal with that since high school, went through college, got a repeat of that. Got to the pro level, another repeat of that. So it's like, okay, now let's put some skill around him so you have threats around you. So if you come off that screen, the defender has more than one thing to worry about. Come off that screen, now you got to see Lou Will in a wing. I got Collins rolling off the pick and roll. I got Clint Capella rolling off the pick and roll. I got Gallinari in the corner, and I got Bogdanovich in the other corner. What you going to do now? Oh, snap. I got to think more. So now Trae Young can make easier decisions because he has less bodies to worry about. And plus, like I said before, this is development overall. But I think Trae Young's on a very good trajectory.
I also say, and Trae got a mean floater. Like,
oh yeah,
Buddy get past the free throw line, he got a floater that's cash, and I can tell you, he has a shot blocker. Free game right here for guards that may listen to this video. But the worst fear or the worst thing to deal with for a shot blocker is a guard that can make a good floater or a consistent floater, especially from far away from the goal. If you can make a floater just inside the free throw line, there's nothing I can do to stop you as a shot blocker. Like, let's say, like, because if you beat the first man and you pull up for a floater, hey, you outside of my zone, really. Because, like, of course I can slide over and help you come in for a layup. But if you take a floater, I can't get to that. Not in time, at least, unless you just get too close. So that's something I can really, like, take notice and appreciate. Like, so he got a floater. Trae know he's small. Trae know he ain't going in the paint just finishing over nobody like that.
Yeah.
But Trae got a floater game that's like inside the free throw line, he good. And so that's what the shooting range he got and handles he got and the floater game like that. Trae gonna give him about 2 more years. He gonna be close to leading the league in points. He gonna be like top 5 in scoring.
Man, I asked this question on Twitter, and how many years until Trae Young's in the MVP talks?
MVP talk?
Yeah.
Well, that hinges on what they put around him in Atlanta too, because we ain't giving the MVP nobody like 7th, 8th seed. What seed are they right now? They 5th?
Yeah, 4th, 5th.
Yeah, they're the 5th seed. Yeah, they're the 5th seed. So they'll have to be one of the better teams for that to happen. So it depends on what they put around him. But if we talk about, like, he gonna be worthy, let's say this, he'll be worthy of MVP talks in 3 years. I give him 3. That's enough time. He'll be in his 6th year 6. He'll be about 25-ish, 26, because he came in league first. We went 1 and done. So he should have been 19 when he came.
Yeah.
So he'll be about 25-ish. Yeah. Give him 3 more years. He'll be like really coming into his prime. Because that's the craziest thing. Like I said, with these young guys that are like stepping up in this moment, Ja, Luka, Devin Booker, Trae, and Jason, they under 25 years old. And your prime, they say statistically, your prime is between 25 to about 32. That's like your prime years. So when you get on the other side of that, it's assumed you'll be on the down slope. So these boys are technically just like science speaking scientifically, let me say, just speaking scientifically, they're not even the best that they'll be right now. So I give Trae about 3 years, he'll be in them talks. What you say?
I say about 2 years, man. I think that since the Hawks made some smart moves this year, they're on the right track. You feel me? And it's like they're pushing to be a better organization. They're pushing to be a winning franchise. They haven't been good in about 10 years. Because I remember Joe Johnson, Josh Smith, Josh Childress, Al Horford time. That's when the last time Mike Bibby, back when they had Jamal Crawford too. Like that was the last time I remember them really being worthy of the playoffs. It's like ever since then they lost that whole little crew downward slope and they weren't the same. So it's like the Hawks, I feel like the management is doing the right things. They're pushing the right direction. And they're figuring out how to work the modern day NBA and how to work around Trae. So like with that going on now and Trae figuring out his game, like you said, coming into his own, it's going to be a push to get him winning sooner than later. Because the more you get him exposed to the playoffs and the faster you get him exposed to that level of competition, the sooner he's going to get more comfortable and more confident. So like you get like Luka, the reason he was so great coming out and LaMelo Ball because he played against high level competition since they were teenagers. You feel me? So like that advantage, that mental advantage, that emotional advantage, put them to where now, rookie year, they're showing out. So for Trae, the sooner he gets that level of experience and exposure to being in the playoffs on the regular, to being in a clutch situation on the regular, being in that environment of the playoffs, because that's totally different from the regular season. The more he can do that, the better he'll grow and develop. So it's like, if they have smart management thinking about all of this, okay, even if we lose in the playoffs, he's getting more experience right now. So I think they're going to be more aggressive and get him there sooner. But it's only a year difference. It's not like we're saying 5 years or 10 years. So I just think 2 years would be like right around that time. But we'll see, man. We'll see. But I want to see how you feel about Donovan Mitchell, man.
Oh, that's another young guy that's stepping into his prime, or stepping into his spotlight, I should say. But I can honestly say, like, I'm not very surprised by like Donovan's like big performances. Like, are they not saying they not accomplishments? They big performances. They playing the Clippers right now. So we'll see what he do tonight, and they get in. This is a pivotal game 3. So if he do something tonight, he gonna be the guy for real because he'd have been basically put them away. But I knew Donovan was the guy in the bubble last year. When they got the 3-1 comeback in the first round from the Nuggets and they lost. Throughout that series, Donovan showed up. Mm-hmm. I don't care what nobody say. Donovan had one game, him and Jamal Murray both had 40. I want to say it was game 7. Him and Jamal Murray both had 40, like 40 plus. I don't remember exactly how many, but they both had over 40 points. And they just lost the game. And I remember Donovan on the floor crying. Like, yeah. I remember that. Yeah. And let me tell you something. Now, as an athlete, or really like as a competitive person, any competitive person can like take note. When he did that, and he obviously did his part. Obviously was the best player on his team. and they lost that series, even though they was up 3-1. And for him to be crying, because there's only two ways you could go. It's only when you in his situation, you can either say, "Hey, I did my part. I did all I could do. That it just is what it is." You know, you can take that route, or you can say, "Dang, like we lost. I should have been better. I should have did this. I can't believe I let this happen." You can shoulder the blame. You can either say, "Hey, I did my part," and put the blame on the team, or you can say, "Dang, I should have did more," and put it on yourself. And when I see Donovan crying, I was like, he gonna be all right. He gonna be fine.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
He's gonna be fine.
Oh yeah.
And so here we go. We see it now. He's stepping into it because you know he don't want to let that happen again.
Oh yeah. That's my dog. I like him, man. Like, thing I like most about him is I'm a D-Wade fan, like, as you know. And his game is so similar to D-Wade that it's just like
D-Wade 2.0.
I can't help but love his game, man. I can't help but love it because there's so many times I see him doing something like that reminds me of Flash. Like, that's a cold move, but like all his gathers and everything, how he gets in some of his moves is like it's just the newest version. He's D-Wade with a jumper. Like, he's a way better shooter than D-Wade was, especially in his prime. Like, D-Wade wasn't even a decent shooter until like right before LeBron got there, like a year or two before LeBron got there. Even then, he still wasn't that great of a shooter. Like, he was never really that great of a shooter.
Well,
like,
that wasn't the game back then.
Yeah, yeah. Now. So it's like to see how Donovan is now. It's like, oh man, like, it's ridiculous. Like, that dude has all my respect, especially like you said last year in the bubble when him and Jamal Murray going at it. Like, you got 30, all right, I'm gonna put 32. All right, you got 40, I'm putting up 42. You put up 50, I'm drop 50 on your head too. Like, they were really going at it that whole series, man. Like,
man, it was crazy.
And then for him to come back this year, he missed game 1. Game 2, I forgot who it was. He was like, I'm coming at your head. He first shot of the game, he did, I don't know if he did that snatch pullback, came on the screen, 1 or 2, but he pulled up over guy's head. He's like, I'm coming for him all night. He getting this all night. I'm coming at your head. I'm like, yes, he's here. Like, ain't take nothing but 1 second for him to pop back in. I was like, yes, it's going to be a game for him. Like, his energy, man, like, he has a humble confidence about him that you can't help but like, you know, it's kind of like Jimmy Butler a little bit. Like, he's very confident, almost arrogant to an extent, but it's like he works his butt off so you can't help but respect it. You feel me? So that's my dog, man. I really like him. Like, he's probably, like you said, we probably got to do a whole episode on just this new generation, new class of players. He's for sure top 5, maybe top 10. He's up there for sure.
So let's go into another young player that did not do so well. We got to talk about my boy Julius Randle. Because Julius Randle had a great season. A doggone NBA most improved player. I've seen a couple of his games. Now, I can admit, I'm not going to lie, Brian, when I watch his games seem kind of like, not saying he's not good, obviously, great player, but his game seemed kind of simple, almost.
Yeah, like, he's very limited.
Yeah, he's limited. That's the best way to put it out. He's limited. But it works. Like, he's strong, lefty, can finish strong on him. But when it comes to, like, working out one-on-one, I feel like like you say, he's very limited. He can't do a whole lot, just like one man right in front of him. And especially somebody like strong as him, where he can't just bully them. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, but I did not expect him to just flop like he did in the playoffs. I was disappointed behind that. I was like, man, especially with all the young players showing up, it was like, Julius, this is like the theme of the playoffs is these young boys going crazy. And you get in here and you know, like, I want to say the first game he had like 6 points. It was like, man, come on, bro. You the most improved player. You're supposed to be your time. This is the Knicks' first time in the playoffs, and like since Melo was there, that's been like 8-9 years now. So
it's a bad look.
It's like, come on, man, you can't do these boys like that. Then D Rose showed up of all people, and D Rose was their best player. And you ain't do nothing, Julius. Like, if I was D Rose, I had to say something to you, because I done worked my butt off to get back to this point on hooping. almost won Sixth Man of the Year, and here you go lay an egg in the playoffs, and you're supposed to be the best player.
Yeah.
But go ahead.
Yeah, I like Jew, man. But the thing about him is he's come a long way since his days in Kentucky. He's came a long way, got a lot more skill, but the playoffs exposed that he has a long way to go to get to the next level too.
Right.
He's definitely an all-star player, they're all-star caliber type of player, but he still has another step that he can take, and I feel like he will take. He's worked his butt off to get to this point now, and I don't feel like he's stopping anytime soon. But the playoffs will expose you, like we just talked about with Luka and Trae and Donovan and Jamal Murray. Exposed them for good. It showed that we are who we think they were. Like we think they're the next class up, and they are. Julius Randle, we thought he was the next class up. Maybe not this year. Not to say that most improved was a fluke at all, but it showed that he still has areas of his game that he has to develop and work on. Yeah, which is not a bad thing at all. It's like there's nothing wrong with saying you have. It's actually a good thing to say we still have room to grow. We see potential in your game, like because we felt like that's it from him, we'd be done with him. You know, if you feel me, like he wouldn't be champion as the player that he is. But it definitely exposed him that he has more work to do and that he has some holes in his game to work on, especially trying to be the number one guy on a winning team. So we'll see how he does this offseason, man. He just needs to work on his one-on-one situation a little bit better, man. Like that mid-post action will work for him, especially with Derrick Rose. Like they put some more shooters around him, but getting him in the right situations and helping him, like I said, not be as limited as he has been before. But yeah, it was tough seeing him go out like that, but just part of his learning curve as a young guy in the league. So
Right.
we'll see.
But that can take us into next. We brought up Julius Randle was most improved, and so another thing we've been getting here since we entered the second round of playoffs is our NBA award winners.
All right, look, I know you were looking forward to hearing that, but we had a lot to talk about in this episode, so I had to cut it into 2 parts. So if you want to hear the rest of it, stay tuned for part 2 coming up soon. Make sure you hit us up on social media. Let us know what you think about part 1, what you have to say about the playoffs, the first round of the playoffs, the next generation of the young guys coming up in the league. Who else do you feel like stepped up and showed out, in his class? Feel like Booker did his thing too. We've got to talk about him, but he's definitely in the next generation, next class of players coming up. So if you feel like this is a good episode, you got something you want to chime in and add on to us, let us know. Hit us up on social media, and we'll get back with you best as we can. So appreciate you listening. Appreciate you tuning in. Stay tuned for part 2 coming up soon. See you.